Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where we are going to talk about the palette that Natasha Denona made specifically for me. So thoughtful. This is the Mini Triochrome palette and this is a mini version of the Triochrome palette that came out a couple of holidays ago. And this one has 3 mattes, one, I think this is a shimmer, it might be a duochrome, I'm pretty sure it's a shimmer, and 1 multi-chrome. Natasha Denona calls her multi-chromes chromes. So this palette was a trio of chromes and this one is just a mini version of that. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but I'm just super excited because blue is one of my, if not my absolute favorite color when it comes to eyeshadows. I love that this one has like more mattes than shimmers. It's just everything that I need in a mini palette and we need to dive in. That was a very long intro, but I'm just very excited about this palette. I bought this palette myself off the Natasha Denona website. You can also buy it, I think, both at Ulta and Sephora. And you can get a 15% off if you buy from Natasha Denona using the code Angelica. I will leave that down below. So it depends on what, where you are looking to purchase, on what you think would be the best deal for you. I like ordering from Natasha Denona because she packages her packages so well. And I pretty much always have really good luck with shipping and customer service over at them. But also, of course, if you're more interested in checking it out at Ulta and Sephora, I will try and leave links to all of that down below. I did already do my makeup today. I'm actually wearing my radioactive gloss by the collaboration that I did with Oden, and that one is the one I have on my lips today. But let me show you some swatches of this one. This is $27, which seems to be the new price of mini palettes by Natasha Denona. I'm super excited that this is the same price, even though this one has a multi-chrome in it, because multi-chromes are very expensive to produce. So I would not have been surprised to see this one be a couple of dollars more, because it's just a more expensive, it's an expensive pigment to purchase and make shadows out of. It's just the raw material is expensive. Not much we can do about it. But I will say, and I saw some people saying that they wish that this was just multi-chromes. If this would have been a mini palette with 5 multi-chromes, this would probably have been the same price as her mini palettes. $60 something. I'm just letting you know that right now. That is the cost of the raw material. So if that is what you're looking for, I think you would be better off checking indie brands such as Terra Moon or Cleona, where you can build your own palettes and put them in. Because the Cleona shadows are basically around this size and you can get 5 shadows and they are, I think, like 20-25 Canadian dollars each. That's just the price for a really high quality multi-chrome. It is what it is. So the big Triochrome palette looks like this, and this is her $129 palettes. And like I said, she calls her multi-chromes chromes. So she has the powder chromes that she has here, and she also has the liquid multi-chromes, which are actually really good quality. I have one of those as well. Or do I have 2? I might have 2. Those are really nice quality as well. This palette is really nice, and what she said, let me see if I can open this. And what she said with this mini palette is that this is supposedly the blue row in the Triochrome palette. So even though this one is called Triochrome because it is a trio of her chromes, there are 3 multi-chromes in this palette. Trio chromes. Ha ha ha. I know, pun intended. Since this one is a mini Triochrome, it only has 1 multi-chrome. But again, I'm very happy that this one is the same price as her other mini palettes. And I really do like the Triochrome, and I'm excited to get a blue version of it as well, because they're pretty much built up almost the same. This one is 4 mattes and a multi-chrome in each row, and this one is of course an extra shimmer. So that could also be really nice if you like this palette, to get an extra shimmer to mix and match with it. Or if you wanted to try the chromes from Natasha Denona but you didn't want to fork up the $129, here you can get it for $27. And you know what? This looks beautiful. I love blue eyeshadows. I love mattes. And I love that there are more mattes than shimmers in this one. I just think everything about this is perfect. There is a gradient from light to dark. There's a light shimmer. There's a dark shimmer. Everything about this is theoretically perfect. So now we're going to see if it's actually perfect when we use it as well. So let's zoom in. I'm going to use all of the shades. Sometimes I will start with the darkest color and I will blend the edges, but I think today we're gonna start with this one. Oh, you can't see anything, I'm not in frame. I'm gonna start with the middle color and I'm gonna build the dark on top of that to see if we can build a dark one on top of the lighter one. But I never start with a pastel, and I'm gonna tell you why. When you start with a pastel, and I see sometimes people start with a pastel and then say the shadow that they put on top, oh, it's not pigmented, oh, it's patchy. A pastel has a lot of white pigments in it. It's gonna make whatever you put on top be lighter and sometimes, depending on the formulation, a little patchy, because it's gonna have a hard time building or gripping to the white pigments in this one. So if you start with the pastel first, just have that in the back of your head that you're not going to get this pigmented blue afterwards because it's going to mix with the white pigments here. So I would suggest, if you're trying to do something that's a little bit more vibrant, I would suggest, and that is definitely a cat hair, I would suggest starting with either the darkest color or the middle color. I started a lot with the middle color because I feel like I can map out the kind of look that I want, and then I can deepen it up afterwards and not risk going too deep too quickly. I really love the Natasha Denona mattes, so I'm kind of hoping that I am gonna love this too. And I'm gonna do one of my signature looks that is just dark in the outer half of the crease, pastel or light in here, a dark shimmer, and then a light shimmer and a matte inner corner. That's basically my signature look, the one that I prefer to do on myself and on my eye shape, and I feel like it looks good and it's fun to do. So we are gonna do that with this one, and so far that's looking pretty nice. And you can see I'm not swiping, I'm pressing this into the primer so that we can saturate the primer with color. And then of course, since the primer is not set, it's also making the primer not sticky. And if we don't swipe, you're not gonna get any kind of tugging or anything like that. I'm just doing this to begin, to make sure that I'm getting as much pigment as possible, because I mean, it's a bright palette and I want the look to be bright too. I'm using a little bit of that under my eyes too. And I think I'm gonna go in with the pastel shade. I'm using an EO4. And I am gonna put the pastel shade, oh, this is beautiful. I'm gonna put that here in the inner part of the crease. That is so pretty. I wonder if this is gonna be light enough to be an inner corner highlight on me. I don't know about that, but we'll try. I'm really packing it on in the crease. And then I'm just gonna blend a little bit. And then I'm using a little bit, just a little bit. And I'm gonna blend on the edge. And I love the EO4 for that because it is like a little oval. And you can get on the edge and blend without disrupting too much of the darker color that you put down. And then I'm blending over that again with the brush that I had before. But I feel like that looks really good. That's nice. I'm gonna use the same color under my eyes as well. Oh, there is a lot of kick up from that one. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. Be careful. Don't dig into it like I just did. I'm gonna use a little bit of the darkest blue now, and let's see if we can actually deepen this up in a significant and meaningful way, especially with building on top. Well, I definitely think that that is darker. Definitely think that that is darker. That's actually really, really nice. In the pan, they don't look to be significantly different, but I can definitely deepen up with this one. Okay, so let's play with both of the shimmers. I'm gonna start with the multichrome. Let me see if I can clean off a little brush. And I am gonna spray it because I want this to really stick to the mattes that I've already put down. And I wanna give it its best chance possible to show off the shift. Let me see, I'm just gonna grab, yeah, I have just Fix Plus. And I'm gonna put it on the outer part. Like the middle of the lid and the outer part, but not all the way into the outer corner. And there definitely is a shift. Like you can see the purple and the green, and I can see like a little bit of the blue as well. So there definitely is a very visible shift in this one. That's actually really, really pretty. Let me work in a little bit more of that dark blue just on the edge, because I don't want it to be like a stark beginning and end. I want them to like somewhat flow together. And this is the lighter shade, and I did spray this one too. I haven't watched anyone do anything with this collection. So I don't really know how other people feel about it, but I can suspect that a lot of people are feeling like it's too colorful or something like that. But I mean, I love color. I really do. I still prefer, I can tell already from using this one, I still prefer the blues that I did with Oden's Eye in our collab. They are a little bit more the type of blues that I love. This one has a little bit of a turquoise to it, and I prefer the ones that I did myself, but that's also of course a personal preference, and like I did those, so of course I prefer those because I got to pick freely. But I still think that this is beautiful. I'm taking a little bit of the blue matte and I'm just dotting a little bit in the inner corner, but as you can see, it is not like maybe light enough for that for me. But if you have a more medium to tan skin tone, that's really gonna pop as an inner corner highlight on you. We're definitely doing Prance in the waterline, which is my favorite eyeliner ever from Colourpop, and it's like this light blue. But the look is done. I think overall it's really high quality, it's really beautiful, it's definitely like a good quality product, and I like they did it with the same like kind of multi-chrome packaging that the Triochrome has as well. I think that's really nice that they did that purple to turquoise packaging. It really fits with this mini palette. Overall, I'm very impressed with this. I really, really like it. But I don't like the blues as much as I do like the blues that I created myself. I think those they have a better undertone and a better gradient, but I still think that these are very, very beautiful. I really like this look. I think everything looks extremely, extremely pretty. I wish the blue was either a little bit more pigmented or a little lighter, but other than that, I think everything is really beautiful and I'm really, really happy with the look. And I will say, if you think that this color story looks like something that you would enjoy, I do like the quality of it. I really do. But I also think that if you're like the kind of person that want to dive into colorful shadows, I definitely think you can get even more bang for your buck if you're just going for an indie palette, if I'm gonna be totally honest. Because if you do double this, you can get a palette from Oden's Eye, or you can get like it even less. I think this is 27. So yeah, for less you can get a palette from Oden's Eye, or you can get a palette from Bella Beauté Bar or anything like that. So is this better than colorful indie shadows? No. But is this one of the best colorful shadows I've tried from Sephora and Ulta? Yes. Does this make sense? I hope that this makes sense. So I do like it. I really do. Will I reach for this one over my indie shadows? Probably not. But if you only have Sephora Ulta available to you, or whatever equivalent you have in your country, I definitely think that this one is worth picking up. And also since the Sephora sale is coming up, I think it's coming end of October, right? Then you can get a little bit more money off. Or if you order it from Natasha Denona website, you can get 15% off with my code. I will leave all the info down in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. This was actually the first video I filmed after coming back from my national parks tour. Me and my husband and his dad's partner went to Bryce, to Zion, and to the Grand Canyons over like a 5-day road trip thing. So this is the first video I'm filming after coming back. I'm not 100% sure if another video went up before this, but I'm trying to get back in the groove of things. If you stay to the end, thank you so much. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a comment or maybe even a like. It really does help out. And I will see you again probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow with a new video. Bye!